And here we go again. It's Skip versus Ernestine. This is round 17. Nothing quite like this show anywhere out there on the internet, on television, anywhere. I'm Skip from Oklahoma City. She's Ernestine from New York. She's the Belichick basher. We're going to get to that, right? That's your new claim to infamy, right? We've been a couple for almost 20 years. We've been married for 8.5. Yeah, we battle and we bicker. We often disagree. But I'm pretty sure we love each other, pretty sure. And we definitely love being together, I think.
Sometimes.
And as always, our referee here. And frankly, our connector, the catalyst that keeps us together, is our 8-year-old Maltese, Hazel, who's already doing what we're about to talk about, right? Hazel. She's got, what are these, Easter feathers on or something? I don't know. Not my doing. Okay, we do love and appreciate all your questions and all your comments because you are this show as much as the three of us are this show.
Thank you.
So let's start with the question. This is from YouTube, from @coldestunsigned. Skip, why do you let the dog lick you like that?
Right on cue.
As we speak,
right on cue.
She knows how to perform, doesn't she?
She's a licker. She's a licker.
Look, I grew up with dogs. In this case, I do consider this dog at least part human. I believe she's the incarnation of her mother, Evelyn.
Maybe.
I actually wanted to name the dog Evelyn, but that was a little too painful for Ernestine.
No.
So she came up with Hazel, who was supposed to be her dog, and then somehow it became kind of my dog. And I don't know. I love dogs, and so I know they express their affection by licking. I don't know why she wants to lick my hand, but I don't mind that she licks my face. I don't do it all the time, but if she wants to.
As long as you don't ask me to start licking your face.
Okay. Well, that's an idea.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But the point is, I don't know. It just doesn't bother me a bit. And I frankly don't think twice about it, although you do think twice about it because when she does lick my face off camera,
she does it
you're
all the
over
time.
me.
It's just insane. I love Hazel, and I let her lick me on the cheek, or she'll get me on the nose sometimes. But did you ever see the Peanuts comic strip where Snoopy goes over and licks Lucy, and she goes, get me alcohol. That's the kind of thing. Because the dog, I know that she's a human, but she's also a Maltese dog. She's licking other things outside and her private parts, which I'm not going to name, but everybody knows what the dog has as private parts. So I can't let her lick my face and lick my hands. And you don't, it doesn't mean I don't love her as much as you. I just don't want her licking my entire face. It's just the way it is.
I love you more than your mom.
Yeah.
Does, right?
She's more Skip's dog now because she can lick his face and he lets her lick her face.
Okay. What you don't know is that this dog is the all-time creature of habit where everything she does every day is scheduled exactly to the minute. Where if she's with me in my office and it's 5 o'clock and it's time for her to eat, she actually goes to the door and looks over her shoulder at me like, hey, it's 5 o'clock. She can tell time.
She's very smart.
Yeah. When I'm lifting weights, she sits and watches me lift weights. She knows it down to the last set that I do as I lift weights. I'm talking about I do 3 sets of curls or whatever the movement is. And she just sits and waits. And then she gets excited when I'm on my last set. I say, how do you know I'm on my last set? Well, she knows my routine better than I know my routine because she gets excited. We're almost finished, right?
I know.
Okay.
But that's what happens to dogs.
Late at night when you come in and I always say it's her time. You sit on the bed while maybe I'm reading the computer and she jumps up on the bed with you and she doesn't want me to come on the bed because it's her mom time. She wants to give
she wants to hang out with me.
She does. And if I even get close to the bed, she looks at me and kind of shies away from me like, you can't come over here now. This is my time with her.
Right.
you do feed her, so she
Well, she
appreciates
knows,
that.
of course, that I'm the
Okay.
meal ticket.
But during that time, she licks her on the face, and
But she doesn't
loves
lick me
it.
the way. Are
She
you
loves
kidding
it.
me? I don't let her do what you let her do to you. She'll lick me, or she'll lick me on my nose, and then that's it. But I don't let her. I just stand there letting her lick my face. Like 5 minutes are going by, she's still licking my face. Not that I don't. I love her, but
Okay. This does
it would be like,
remind
do you want me to lick your face?
Do I want you to
I
lick
mean,
my
probably
face?
it'd be cleaner
Well,
if I licked your face
that's
than
fine.
if
If you
Hazel
want to, I'd be good with it. I would be. I mean, I'd rather kiss, but
Right,
lick,
but the thing is, lick your face.
okay. But this is the way she expresses her affection.
No, I understand.
Right?
She
So
kisses.
you have to allow her.
Yeah, but it's not like licking.
This does remind me of the Great Divide back in my first take days. This is way back when. Remember when Michael Vick, who I now love,
Yeah.
because he is, he's a good human, but
Yeah.
he went through a terrible time with the dogs and the dog fighting,
Yes,
and
it's
it was horrible.
legendary. Yes,
and
we
he
know.
paid a severe price for those days. And yet on television, we were going back and forth, and our old friend Rob Parker would say on First Take that there is some difference in the way some people in the black community view dogs versus some people, he's generalizing here, but some people in the white community view dogs as a family member, as I do. And Rob would laugh at me, and he would say, you probably let your dog lick you in the face. I always do.
That's Rob.
That was
When did he
pre-her.
become? He's not a dog connoisseur. I mean,
No, but
it
I
doesn't
think
matter
there's some
white or,
truth to that.
I don't believe that at all.
Well, there were some black people who were like, "Oh, come on, it was terrible," but they are just dogs.
And there are
right?
some white people that don't like dogs,
okay,
and there's
I
some,
understand.
it has nothing to do with black, white, nothing to do with what your race is, none whatsoever. Has to do with how you were brought up. I was brought up in a dog family. We always had 2 to 3 dogs at any time in my entire life. We had 2 to 3 dogs. They were never treated as well as she was treated. This one is like, she's a diva, whatever. My dogs, my father would cut a cardboard box and put newspaper down, and the dog would sleep in the box with newspaper. She sleeps on a nice
Sleeps
velour
beside
bed.
you.
Right,
Yeah.
but she's on the bed, whatever. My mother would never let a dog up on the bed. So she's got it really good. So it just depends on how you were brought up. We were brought up that dogs were dogs. When we met Caesar, the famous dog whisperer, we connected with him.
We did.
And he came
did
over
an
to
episode.
Right, he did an episode
his
his show. And
With
he came
her.
over to try to teach her how to, I don't know, live with humans when she was first brought, because she was
She's antisocial.
and she still is.
Yeah.
And he said, you people, I come from Mexico. And he said, we don't treat dogs like you people. I said, what do you mean, you people? He said, you people act as though the dog is part of the family.
Yeah.
He said, we look at dogs as, what are you going to do to earn your keep to live in this house? Okay.
Well,
I don't
there you
believe
go.
that.
There is a cultural divide
Right,
there.
but that's him. And I don't believe in how he treats dogs. That's my thing. And we never brought her back
But Caesar
to him.
treated Hazel like she's a dog, and you have to
she
show
was
the
very
dog
much- and
that
then
you're in control.
Right, and then he blamed it on me. He said, oh, you see, that's why she's going after you, because you're not hollering at her, or I don't know. I don't hit dogs. I don't believe in any of that.
And I will. If she's way out of line, I'll
You're not
pop
going to hit her if I'm around. So,
Well, I have.
well, no.
And if you have,
No.
she will bite your leg to keep you from leaving the house, and I
Whatever.
would not allow that.
Yeah, I know, but I'll smack her on the butt or something. But I'm not going to beat the dog up. I'm sorry,
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
believe
gonna
in
beat
that.
her up either. Okay, let's change the subject to something a little more relevant.
She's done with your licking. She's out.
She's had enough.
She's had enough of your-
you and your
She'd had enough
verbal
of your
abuse.
taste. Oh, me, right? Yeah, she'll bite me later. Don't
All
worry.
right. Okay, next question. This is Bobby from Boston, Massachusetts, who asks, last week you talked about Bill Belichick dating a much younger woman. What do you think the appropriate age difference is for a couple? Okay, before you answer, allow me to bring the perspective of you had kind of an avalanche of criticism that hit your Instagram page. And I warned you this was going to happen, but you won't listen to me because you never do. And
I don't care.
you got pretty upset about it. And
No, I wasn't upset. I was just astonished
Okay.
that the people that wrote on my Instagram, which I don't read, but I just saw that there were a massive amount of responses. The thing that they were upset about was the age difference. I wasn't talking about the age difference. I don't care how old someone if you could be 20 and dating someone who's 100, I don't care. I don't think that there's an age appropriate for love. You can fall in love with anybody of any age, and if you connect, and I think it's great. I was talking about the fact that this woman who he is with is posting nonstop that you cannot open up. I'm not even looking. It just pops up. There's another video of the two of them. There's another video of the two of them. There's another video of the two of them. And in my opinion, he looks uncomfortable because he's just like a deer in headlights. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying about the age. I don't care how old somebody is. I don't think there's an age of how old you're supposed to be.
You got upset with some people bashing you, and you blocked a bunch of people. And I told you, you don't need to block anybody.
Well, that's
just
my
rise
right.
above it. I know it's your right.
That's my right to block.
Well, I've never blocked a soul.
Well, you're different than I am.
Okay, but I told you, just stay above the fray. Just
well,
don't.
I will be, but I don't. I live in America, and it's my right to block someone.
Okay.
If you want to write something nasty to me, and I don't like it, I'm going to block you.
And I don't care about it.
Well,
I have my opinions. You can have yours. Fire away, and I'm not going to respond. But that's just me.
Well, if you're ripping me for something that is not what I said, then
okay,
all
right. So
not good.
So you're saying there's no age appropriateness.
I don't think there's
on a
an
relationship.
age. No, I think,
so 72 and 24 is just
I don't
fine
care.
with you.
That's fine by me if they're happy and they're in love and they're connected, and that's great. I don't care that he's dating somebody that younger, and I don't care if she's dating somebody that older. I just care about, why do you have to keep shoving it down our throat of these pictures and these crazy Instagram things that are showing up everywhere in the world nonstop from her to try to promote herself with him.
So you think she's using him to promote her?
Of course.
Okay. I think he's using her to promote himself as something you didn't even realize when we first talked about this a week ago. He's now a college football coach. Yeah. So it's not like the NFL where you have somebody else, although Belichick did it for the whole regime, but you have to draft players in the NFL. In college, you have to go pay and recruit players, and it's a whole new ball game of appeal and sort of lightning rod fascination. So Belichick's trying to go younger to appeal to the younger audience.
Do you think that he looked for a girl,
well, I don't know that he looked for her, but I think
so he could get to his
I think
college?
He's enough of a scoundrel that he thought, this could be really great for me. Not that he's not infatuated with her.
I don't think the thought entered his mind.
I do.
There is no way on this planet this man thought about that premeditated dating so he could get his career going in the college world now.
It generates enormous publicity
for him that he needs. But if she didn't do it, no, listen, if she was a different type of person, okay, if she wasn't going to be posting 1,000 videos every 2 minutes, nobody would even know. He would be under the radar, right?
That's the problem. Right, he can't be under the radar now.
Not with her.
He could be in New England. He tried to avoid the media. He tried to say as little as possible. Right. Now he needs to say as much as possible and flaunt the fact he's got a 24-year-old girlfriend, because it sends a message to a whole new younger generation of, I still got it. I still got my fastball.
But there are a lot of people that don't agree with that, and they're thinking she's only with him because of his money and his fame. But the thing is, if he was dating someone younger and she wasn't going to be active on social media, then what would he do? Quit his job because he wouldn't have a vehicle of getting out there? That's ridiculous. It just so happens he's with this person and she wants the limelight.
Okay. So
I don't care about the age.
All right. If I can go a cut deeper on age difference.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through this with several friends. It's like, what do you want? Because the odds are it's possible you need to get this declared up front. But if she does want children, you're going to have a problem.
That's a whole nother ball game.
Because if she approaches 30 and her, as they say, her clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And she says, gee, I want at least one kid. and all of a sudden, that could be 5 years from now, and he's 77. Do I really? Who'd you tell me? Robert De Niro?
Well, Pacino just had a baby last year, and he's 81.
Okay, so
and De Niro had somebody a couple of years ago, and he's 81. I guess they wanted a child, so that was their thing. But I just don't. The age thing doesn't matter to me.
Okay, I'm with you on that. It doesn't matter to me at all.
It doesn't matter.
Given the maturity level of what's going on in the relationship, is this just a sort of a short-term infatuation? Or
yes, if they're happy for their short term, that's fine too. But I don't think age. Listen, I was friends with Adele. She was 105.
Yeah.
I didn't see her as 105, and she was a good friend, and I loved her. So age doesn't matter when you connect with people. Okay,
and now to sum this up, here's a YouTube comment from @GameTimeYJ6QV. Belichick doesn't need anyone to feel bad for him. He's winning off the field as much as he did on it. Okay, well
that's one perspective.
But that's the younger. That's a big score for Belichick, because that's what a lot of the 24-year-olds or the 20-somethings think. Well, that may be what the teen-somethings think.
If winning is just having
a hot
woman with you who has a big chest, then I guess they'll learn eventually that's not what life is all about for winning.
How many 72-year-olds can date a 24-year-old? It's not
a lot. Come to L.A.
Okay, touche. All right. You better have a lot of money, though, right?
Go to what's the Craig's restaurant. You'll see them all lined up at night.
Okay. All right, enough about that. Let's take a question from Dana from Lawrence, Kansas, if we could, please. Arguing in fights is a consistent topic on the show, which I love because everyone deals with it. What is the worst fight you've had with each other? How about last Friday night? We had a doozy. We had a bang-up fight. It felt like
I don't remember.
You don't? We'd had a long day, and you were just fried.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And you just lost it. And then I lost it, and we're going back and forth, and I think it's over. Like it's going to end.
You know, there's sometimes life gets to you with everything comes tumbling down at once, and there's just so much a human can take before, as my mother would say, the rubber band can stretch only so far before you burst.
Okay, so you think your rubber band burst?
Yeah, Friday night. It was terrible.
Okay.
I thought I was having a mental breakdown. So sometimes.
I thought you were. I didn't think I was.
No,
but
I was in the mental breakdown.
Sometimes you fight so dirty. You just.
It's just the way it is.
Okay, you just there are no rules, no regulations, no boundaries. Well, there are certain things you just can't say, and you just say them.
And you're so innocent. You don't say anything that you don't. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Next time I'll have to record you, and then we'll play it back.
Yeah.
But everybody fights.
Okay.
But we don't live. It's not a 24-hour day fighting.
Well, we've talked about this before, but I'll say it again.
Yeah.
Our most lethal fight came.
I don't even remember them, to be honest with you.
Well, it was about 5 years ago, and it was about my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, that.
That nearly ended us. That was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That definitely was.
Okay. And you still bring it up to me and you won't let it go. So it lives.
It does live.
Yeah. Okay.
Some things stay with you forever and they live. It lives.
Okay. At that point, it actually got so bad it was down to choosing you or her.
Yeah. Listen, nobody told you
this. Is early pandemic, maybe.
And if I had different brains in my head at that moment, I would have walked out. But
I didn't want you to walk out because
but there's just so much
I wanted you. You hate. I chose you, but
the big fight, the big choose who it is.
Okay, but then you told me you can't keep in touch, and so I agreed to completely pull the plug. So I have pulled the plug.
Well, that's the way it goes.
And again, I don't want her romantically. She would just a dear friend. Please. I spent a long time with her.
There's no room with dear friends when you're in a marriage. Okay. No more. It ends.
Life is short. It just.
Well, then you have to choose if you want to just be surrounded by dear friends or you want to have a one-on-one relationship. It's fine if you want dear friends. Adios.
Okay. Well, I said you. I said.
Oh, great. Well, good.
Well, you got to give me a little credit for that.
No, it's just common sense. Oh. Common sense.
Well, it was more than common sense. It was a huge ordeal and decision, and I'm with you.
The choice was either that or I was leaving.
Okay, but I give you everything. Well, I do.
Oh.
You're not very grateful for it.
No, I'm not grateful at all.
She's not. Okay.
No, I'm not grateful at all.
All right, changing that subject to question from YouTube again from @Jerry W2460. Ernestine, if you, Skip, and Michael Jordan were out to sea, and Skip had to choose who had to go over the side of the boat to save the other one, who is Skip choosing? Well, that's simple.
Michael Jordan.
I would choose Michael Jordan.
Of course.
It's simple. Yeah. It's like cut and dried. Why would you even insult me by asking that?
Right. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Oh, come on.
I think it would depend on the day. If we were having a fight about your ex, you would choose Michael Jordan. You would help him.
I'm past the fight. You still
No, I don't care about the fight. I couldn't even remember the fight.
I know, but you bring it up. But you bring it up every time we fight. Well, maybe she could be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, please.
Well, stop it.
Okay. That's over with.
Okay. But I would obviously choose you.
Thank
I've chosen you.
I would appreciate
and you hate that word, that verb choose, but I would choose you.
Well, we're talking about a over the side of the boat thing. It's a life or death situation.
But I love me some Michael Jordan. I've got on Jordans right now. I live in Jordans.
That's true.
I thought he was the greatest player ever in any sport. I idolize him. I revere him.
I know.
I worship him.
I know.
I got all that. But she is it for me.
Right.
She's
so let's
my whole
say
life.
this. If we were in this situation, God forbid, should ever happen, which will never happen, you could save me and then I'll help Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay. All right. Because he's an icon. I can't throw him over the
No,
side.
you're going to have to help. I can't let somebody, I would help him too.
You know what? And that's, if push came to shove, I would jump over the side. And you would applaud. Then you could have Michael Jordan, right?
I like Michael Jordan. I don't want to marry him. Yeah, he's married. He's happy.
I hope he is.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He seems like he never could be happy without being Michael Jordan, the basketball player.
He's got a thing on his back, a target on his back his whole life now. He can't be anything but Michael Jordan.
Well, okay.
He can't get away from it.
I think they have kids.
I think eventually, he's happy.
Have at least one.
They've been together for a while.
Okay, your turn again.
Thank
here. An ongoing struggle for you, especially out here in Los Angeles, has been the identity crisis of becoming known more as Mrs. Skip Bayless instead of just Ernestine Sclafani, which is your maiden name, which you still
I use a lot.
hang on to. Okay, the floor is yours.
Well, I
How much does this torment you?
The more I think about it, it's not just because I'm with someone who's a notable person. It could happen to someone who is a doctor's wife, or it could be, it's also a guy thing when the woman is a notable. Because I was friends a long time ago with an actress who she was very well known, and we would go out to dinner, and her husband, he was well known, but not as well known as she was. And I remember going out to dinner, we were meeting the actress at the restaurant. We were going to Nobu downtown in New York. And I was with the husband and the two kids, and we walked in the restaurant, and the hostess called him by the last name of the wife.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Mr.
Yeah.
The wife's last name.
That's a shock.
And it was terrible. And he said, no, it's not. And he, so I think that when over the years, it was never as much in my face as it was until we moved out here. Because in New York, I first of all, we didn't live together. So I had my own identity, and I was in New York all the time, and you were in Connecticut for ESPN. But once we moved, and I was doing the PR, and I was flying all over the world, and I had my own life. But then we moved out here. What really struck me was that people, they discredited me as a person because I didn't exist as a person. I just became Skip's wife. And that it's really horrible to do to somebody because they make somebody become, they have no brains, they have no ambition, they don't do anything. They just become that person's wife. And it's not fun. And I have done a million things in my life, and I still continue to do a bunch of things in my life. But the people out here, or even if I'm living out here and I'm calling someone around the country, for work, oh, Skip's wife. Oh, Skip's wife. And that's not the truth. So I think that's what people end up becoming because people don't want to know them. I mean, there have been times where you and I have gone out with people and the conversation the whole night is all about you. They never say to me, hey, are you working on something? What are you doing? You have any projects? It becomes Skip, Skip, Skip. I mean, you've seen it.
I have.
And it's really frustrating because you become a non-identity person. You just don't exist. And so that's my gripe.
Okay. But you did choose to be with me.
No, I'm not saying it was a horror. It's not
But it's part of the deal.
Yes, but it's not you doing it. I'm saying it's people's perception that because somebody is with someone who is either a very famous lawyer or doctor or actor or singer or whatever, the person that's with them is not as important, and they become I don't know, they get knocked down in.
Right, here's my problem with this.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows us and knows her.
Yeah.
Anybody we've been to dinner with multiple times would tell you that they're much more interested in having her at the table than me at the table because we talked about this a couple
I'm a better
episodes.
Conversationalist.
She's more of a live wire. She's more of a dynamo. She's more outgoing than I usually
at times,
am.
Yeah.
And she can just take over a table in ways that can be very entertaining to the other couple or couples or whatever group we're in.
Yeah, I'm good at doing that.
Okay, so you're the draw more than I am for people. Maybe the first time I'm the draw because, what's it like to whatever?
Yeah.
Do you really know Deion Sanders or Lil Wayne or whoever it is?
It's
But
all
you know
about
Lil Wayne
the
too.
sports thing.
Yeah.
No, it also depends on who you go out with.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going out with people that are connected to you in your world, they could care less if I just sat there and I had no mouth and I didn't even speak. They never ask anything about me. We've gone out so many times with people that it's like everything is, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I'm just sitting there like I have no brains and I have no life and I have nothing in my world and they don't care. And it's even when I'm trying to do something for work and I call someone, immediately it's the Skip connection, which is okay. But then they have a different percent. Excuse me. Do you want to get a room? Excuse me.
She's
trying to tell about my story.
I know,
and
you're doing
she's
a good job, too.
Thank you very much. But the perception of that I don't exist as a person anymore only because I'm with you. And it's really funny because I've had people say to me, well, when you were at Fox, especially because when we came out here, you were at Fox, and I'm pitching something for my personal projects. And I have people saying, well, you don't really need to do that. You're with him. Well, what does that have to do with it?
Nothing.
Does that take my brain away because I'm with you?
Okay.
And people just categorize you into, well, you live near Beverly Hills and you are married to someone who's famous.
Yeah.
So I should then just have no ambition and do nothing in life.
But
No, that's
really
people's
thinks
perception.
that.
Yes, they do. Are you kidding me?
All right. But you never use it as a positive because, if I may say so myself, my name has opened a whole lot of doors for you.
Yeah, it's open doors, but that's as far as it gets. And then usually it opens the doors and then it's like, so do you guys go to Lakers games? And then can you get us some tickets? And they just want to know about you. And I'm not saying, listen, we're together, but
okay, but it's a plus to get your foot in a door, but then you got to run and carry the ball.
Yes, but
right?
a lot of people, as you've witnessed, that time I was pitching my TV show, and we sat in the room, and the guy who was the head of Fox at the time, he only wanted to meet us so he could talk to you about Wimbledon.
That's true. He was a tennis
Until you
buff.
finally said, after a while, hey, we should actually get to the reason why we're here. I'll never forget that.
And his eyes glazed.
And then he could care less, and then he didn't help me with, and he could care less about my project.
All right, but it's better to get your foot in the door because it only takes one.
No, I know, but it's not just about projects, but it's about life. People look at you as though you don't have to make your own money. You don't have to do anything on your own.
I get that. But some women would look at it as a blessing.
Yeah, well,
to
some
say,
people have
I'm with him.
But some people don't have aspirations.
We had some money and we had some acclaim.
Yeah, but it's not just
it opened doors.
But it's not about the money, is what I'm saying. It's about the perception of people that think because you're with that person, you don't have any brains in your head, you have no ambition, you have no life, and that's the whole thing that really sits in my craw.
What's the answer to this?
Oh,
you want a divorce, right?
No. That's why I use my maiden name a lot.
Yeah.
No, I just, it's just
you
one
do
of those
use your
things.
maiden name because that you're trying to cling to your own identity.
That I am my person. I'm a person.
All right.
So anyway.
I think you're okay.
That's I still go through it every day, but it's okay.
Your cross to bear.
Yeah, it's my cross to bear. Yeah.
Okay, now it's my turn.
Okay.
The other day, you were walking in our gated community here with me.
Yeah.
And you saw a flower. It was a bright orange flower.
It was beautiful.
I think we have a picture of it. Didn't you? Did you send them? Okay.
I sent
this flower really moved you. You really wanted me to share in your awe for that flower at that moment. And I just failed. I just couldn't because I just don't care.
No, you don't
about
care
what
about
flowers look like or sunsets look like. Fireworks look like, for that matter, fireworks displays. Yet the other night, on the other side of the coin, we were putting this show together and I'm watching BYU in March Madness hang on to the lead against Wisconsin. Yeah. And one of the BYU kids had a breakaway layup at the buzzer. The game was pretty much decided.
I remember.
It was decided. And he throws the ball up high off the glass as a pass to himself, and he dunked it at the buzzer.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at the audacity of that. And I tried to talk to you about it. I tried to get you to share in my amazement of that moment because it just knocked me over. I had to stop what we were doing and say, what is he doing?
Yeah.
And you had exactly zero interest in what I was saying.
No.
So, no flowers for me and no breakaway dunks at the buzzer for you.
First of all, I don't like college basketball. I've told you, I think it's Mickey Mouse. I just think, and even the commentator called it Mickey Mouse the other night. Remember, he said, "This is so." Remember one of the commentators.
I don't think he meant it like you thought.
He said, "This is like Disneyland."
Oh yeah, but he wasn't disrespecting the product that they are selling because they sell March Madness.
I don't like college basketball.
Okay.
I don't like college anything.
I actually don't love it either, which is what I talked about on my show this week, on the Skip Bayless show. Not that you'd ever watch that show.
No, I don't watch that show. I don't really care about that show.
I have no idea what I do.
But anyway, I don't really, I understand it. I get it. But I don't have any interest in it. And they're all standing there again. The girl was crying. Remember, she was crying after the game because they lost.
All crying.
They all cry, and I just don't have any.
I saw they did a great segment the other day, I think on CBS, about the crying piccolo girl from Villanova from several years back, because Villanova was losing the championship game, and she just kept playing her piccolo, and tears were just streaming down her face, and she became a meme. She became famous as the crying piccolo girl,
God.
And she still is famous.
There's no crying in baseball.
There's
remember?
No crying in March Madness.
But there's a difference of beauty. What nature and God has put out, and you have to. It's called stop and smell the roses. It's not called stop and watch them dunk a basketball.
Yeah.
So just to stop and appreciate, my God, look at the sunset; it's incredible, and look at the flowers. It's not like it doesn't make you not manly. I think that's what you think it is.
No, I don't think that. I just don't have interest in how beautiful the flowers were.
Well, it's like
you
I'll
made me
say to
stop
you,
and look at it, and I was like,
I say, look at how gorgeous. But I'll say to you,
it was.
God, isn't it? You go to the gym, and then you come back. I say, was it beautiful out? I don't know. I didn't even notice. How could you not notice? What did they beam you like Star Trek?
I need to stop and literally smell the flowers.
It's called like appreciating every moment you have on the planet.
Yeah. And by the way, then you took me to task the other night. I don't go on walks with you anymore. like we used to in New York.
We used to.
I know, but we had to in New York. We walked for transportation.
It's not a have to. It's just part of life.
I know, but we walked everywhere in New York because it's hard to get a cab. It's hard to take a cab east-west because you just get stuck in.
Yeah, but it's New York. People would give their eye teeth to be able to go and walk in New York City and look at the buildings and the stores.
What's the old song say? Nobody walks in L.A. You do, but you might be the only one.
I'm the only person who walks in L.A. just because people here drive across the street. But I try to walk for health.
I've walked from here to Beverly Hills with you.
Yeah,
it's about
a couple of times.
30-minute walk.
Yeah.
Okay. I do that. And if you want to do it again this Saturday,
I'll do it every day.
I'll just plan it. You do it every day.
I do it every day.
But
Sometimes I've done it twice a day.
We used to walk her more out around the complex.
Yeah.
Now you get up and take her out
I take
first
her out
thing in the morning.
But the thing is, we could walk. There's just something about, I don't know, taking it all in every day.
Well, I'm game.
Okay, good.
Maybe that'll save us.
Put on your walking shoes.
Right? Okay, but no flowers.
It's going to save us when we could pick flowers along the way.
Okay, this is a question from Ann I just spoke about BYU. This is from Salt Lake City. Ann says, love that you two talked about watching a show together when someone is watching, quote unquote, just because.
It's terrible.
That happens to my partner and I all the time. Have you ever thought about just watching the show by yourself? My partner and I do that, and it, quote unquote, saved our marriage.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We do it.
Okay, well,
You'll watch it on the treadmill.
Yeah, I watched you're out, which I don't understand, on 1923 after we watched the first season of it and just were enthralled, and then it came back and you watched about 10 minutes and said, this is terrible.
Got lame, yeah.
So now I'm watching it on the treadmill.
Not as much.
Not greatly, but I'm, just because it's Taylor Sheridan, I'm going to see it through and see it to the bitter end.
Just because he's part of it doesn't make it that it has to be amazing.
Okay, and I told you wouldn't watch the Academy Award winning, movie of the year. Okay,
no interest.
Honora, and I watched the whole thing on the treadmill. And there was the Netflix show, whose name escapes me now, about the Old West with the Native Americans.
Oh yeah, you like that? That was
blood and guts.
Yeah.
And nope, she's out. And I watched the whole thing on the treadmill.
Well, there's certain things we just say that's a treadmill movie.
Okay, that's a and I readily accept it. So it does save us.
You don't like to watch? I like Hallmark.
Yeah, I don't watch Hallmark.
No,
I'm out. But we are blessed in that we do have very similar tastes mostly in movies, and we watch tons together.
Yeah.
So this all started about the De Niro series, Zero Day.
Which was great.
On Netflix. No, Amazon.
No, Apple. I don't know. Is it Apple?
I can't remember. But anyway, 0 Day.
It's so good.
Okay, so I got about an episode and a half into it, and I'm just getting sleepy. And then I look over at her in the second episode, and you are cold out. You're asleep.
I had a long day.
Okay, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. It's just too tediously slow as we try to develop character with the daughter, and after a while, and Jesse Plemons' character, and after a while, I said, I don't love it.
I didn't want to give it up. I like De Niro.
And for her, sacrificing for our marriage. Well, I did, but I don't get any credit whatsoever. Okay, but I don't get any credit. You never say, "Hey, thanks for doing that."
I mean, so I sit through some war things with you.
You don't sit through.
Oh, I do.
War.
I've sat through plenty.
War,
I sit through sport documentaries.
You do not, unless you're into it.
Well, sometimes I could have to be into it. I'm sitting there.
But when it's Sly and the Family Stone documentary,
that's different. I'm talking about sport documentary. I've seen a lot of sport documentaries, baseball documentaries. No. What are you talking about?
That's wrong.
We watched the one that, what's his name? Kurt Russell's nephew did.
The Inglorious Bastards of minor league baseball.
Yeah, we watched that. I liked it. I know, but you
did it because you know Kurt Russell.
No, but I liked the documentary.
I had met the nephew who...
Did a documentary.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going off on
all right. Whatever. Yeah. But the point is, we stuck with 0 Day, and it
was great.
And it got us both.
Really good.
It got really good. And it's
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. It's
thanks to me.
It's worth the time, but you got to hang tough for a while.
The first couple of episodes.
Yeah, you just got to hang in, and then it takes off. And once it takes off, it really takes off.
He's the best. Oh.
He is great.
He's so good, right?
But I find it ironic that he despises Donald Trump, but that character he played, he's an ex-president. He has a lot of Trump in him.
Yeah. But it was also written by Noah Oppenheim, who worked at Today's Show, remember?
Oh, yeah.
A friend of a friend.
But there's a lot of, damn the Constitution, I'm going to do it my way because this is the right way. Okay. Whatever.
Go De Niro.
All right. Question from Shay from Brooklyn, New York. Loved, all caps, the quote-unquote, are you ready conversation. Skip, do you think your impatience comes from living in a world of deadlines, be it when you're a journalist or on TV? Yeah, I'm amped up. I have lived my entire life on tight, high-stress deadlines in both newspapers, radio, TV. It's all going to happen, and you better be ready for it to happen, and you better be prepared for it to happen. So I'm a control freak. I want to control my fate.
Yeah.
And on TV, even though I worked with a partner for 20 years, I can still control my fate because I can show up on time and I can be completely and utterly prepared for wherever my partner might go.
Right.
And then I'm going to crush him. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's my mentality.
But that's not what's happening here.
Okay. It is because the reason I get so impatient with you, the reason I have to recalibrate is because I can't control you.
Oh my God.
But I can't control your readiness. And if you say, I learned this a long time, this is 20 years together. I learned that if you say, I'll be ready in 5 minutes, it's 15 minutes.
I'm the most on-time person that you'll ever meet.
So I wait until I get pushed because I'm best under fire.
Oh, yeah.
So she comes in and I say, are you ready? And she says, yes. But you're not. I'm sitting in my underwear.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sitting with nothing on.
The best is when I walk by the door, I'm ready. I got my handbag. Are you ready? And then I walk by and I look and then you go, are you done? Are you ready? I'm done. You're not done. You're sitting in your underwear. Or you're sitting with nothing on. How are you done? I say to you, how can you walk out the door right now? It gives me 5 minutes. That's not done.
Give me 2 minutes because I can throw it on in 2 minutes and be ready to rock.
Let me ask you this. All the years when we didn't live together and we were going to meet somewhere, I am the most on-time person. I am never late for anything. Never. And
Except
if I'm
when
late,
you say 5, it's 15. You got to give the 15, but you'll be ready.
Let's put it this 15. Way. Yeah. If we are going to walk her, somebody has to get the water bowl, the treats, the everything else. You're not getting it. So that adds time for me to get it. I'm ready, but now I have to go get all the accessories.
I just let you build in that time, and then I wait until I get pushed by deadline to throw the stuff on and go. Okay? And I also think there's a part of you, the Ernestine Sclafani part of you, trying to maintain
my independence.
Your independence.
I just want to show
your identity.
I want to show.
You push me like I don't know why you do this. This is probably a topic for next week's show. But every Saturday, I say, do you want to take her to the mall? And you say, sure. Right. And then you leave and go pick up your sister and go run errands.
Because I have things to do on a Saturday.
Then you push me for 3 hours and I'm just like killing time waiting on you to come back.
Because do you know how many times I have sat here, not gone out, and you say to me, we can go in like a half an hour. And then all of a sudden I come in and you're like, I got to catch the end of this game. And then it turns into another hour. And I'm sitting there wasting my time that I could be doing, checking things off of my list.
I was going to, this past Saturday, watch the end, really most of the second half of Arkansas St. John's. Again, it was Calipari against Pitino, and you loved younger Pitino. I thought he was the hottest guy, right?
He was so hot.
He was a heartthrob for you. You had a crush on him.
I did. I had a crush on him.
Not on Calipari, but on Pitino.
No, Rick Pitino, New York.
All right. So I'm watching the two legends clash, and I was prepared to watch it on my phone at the mall. And you pushed me until finally, when you finally came in, there's 5 minutes left in the game. And I just said, hey, I'm going to finish watching this game.
You made me wait, but I put the groceries away in the same time. Okay. So that it worked out.
You know what? It did work out.
It did. Right? I put all the groceries away. I was done. And then you said you want to go. I said, okay. See?
You still love me?
I still love you. It's okay.
We're still together, barely. That is it for round 17. We will see you next week if we're still speaking.
You can listen to him.
Thank you, Hazel.
Oh, here we go.
Kiss.
Get a room,
She doesn't-
Hazel.
she won't
She's
even
tired
kiss
of licking your face. Thank you. Peace out.